What's up, boys? How's it going?
It's going, eh?
Hey, look at your smug face.
Yeah, we got the entire 2HC crew. 2HC standing for the 2 Hyundai Club, which none of us are. Interestingly enough,
I mean, if you put us together like one mega monster, maybe.
cumulative. That's what we're going for.
Where's your
So
water?
maybe
Why aren't you being a hydro homie?
I don't need any water for today. I'm ready to talk for hours on end. Got lots to talk about. That's for sure.
We'll check back at the end and see how you're doing.
Yeah, he's gonna talk himself dry.
Yeah. I'm a marathon man. I can go all day. I'm not a sprinter. I'm more of the long distance type guy.
Now, a marathon without water. $1 million idea?
It's
Theatrics?
probably been done.
Life or death?
I think you'd want insurance for that. That's for sure.
Are we talking an indoor marathon or an outdoor marathon?
Sahara Desert.
Sahara Desert.
Think that
Not
would
getting coverage
last.
for that one.
That would last no time there.
Yeah, kind of like you in bed.
So yeah, maybe we should just for all our listeners, the many of them out there, just give a brief intro about ourselves and what 2HC stands for, what we do.
Chris,
Yeah,
why don't
wanna
you
go
start us
first?
off?
Yeah.
I'll start with
Mr.
myself.
2HC himself.
Mr. 2HE. I mean, I coined the entire group myself because I'm gunning for that 2 Hyundai, and if it wasn't for all this isolation stuff, I would have been there because I my squats, my deads, my bench, they've all been going up like crazy, and I've been eating like a champ. 2 cans of chickpeas a day for lunch, 3 cans for dinner. So that I think that describes a little bit about myself there.
That's a lot of chickpeas.
Oh, 5 cans a day keeps the doctor away. Also makes you shit all day too, but we don't need to get into that.
I think you're gonna hit 2 Hyundai anyway with the quarantine 15.
Bad 2 Hyundai, but 2 Hyundai still 2 Hyundai.
Nonetheless.
Yeah.
They don't ask how, they ask how many.
True
If
that.
apparently 5 cans of chickpeas, so that's how many.
But
Ben, why don't you go next in order of age?
seniority.
Yeah, sure. It's kind of weird being in the middle. A little sandwich. 2HC sandwich.
I love being in the middle of any sandwich.
I mean, it's kind of odd because you're usually at the bottom of everything. Squats, deads, bench. So
Oh,
you're taking my job in the middle there.
I'll let you have this one. Because your quarantine 15 needs it. Wait, what am I saying again? Am I just introducing myself?
who are
Yeah.
you?
Yeah.
This is like an existential question. No, I'm just one
sad
of,
boy Ben taking over.
I'm just one of the boys. Or as I think my little cousin likes to tell me, I'm just an introspective Benny.
I think that's the best answer for describing yourself. Knowing you, actually.
Yeah, well, that's not something I reject.
All right. How about Donald?
Daddy himself.
Yeah.
I'm
Flex for the camera.
Take your shirt off.
Yeah, I was showing that 500 deadlift. Bod.
Hey, bye.
I'm Mr. 2HC at heart. Not in absolute terms, but in relative terms for sure. Gunning for the crown, held currently by Mr. Too Intense Sizen.
Oh, Too Intense Sizen.
Yeah.
XXX Sizen.
And I'm also Mr. Junior 2HC. So clearly the younger of 2 more susceptible corona victims.
Oof. Man, I thought we bestowed good practices and to respect your elders to you, but clearly not.
Sounds like something you have
It's
to get
a
a.
bit of a rebellious teenage phase, but I'll get over it.
So
Yeah, you're a teenage dirtbag, all right?
speaking of this whole virus and everything, let's talk a little. How are you spending your guys' time in isolation? Like, what's keeping you going just at the home front there?
So new development for me today actually is I impulse bought, and I can admit it, but I think it's worth it. I have a Bowflex downstairs, bought a 200-pound weight expansion
From where?
for $160.
From
I
where?
saved $40. It's sale. Yeah, it was on sale. So I just tested it out. I set it up, did some bench, did some squats, and the Bowflex weights are a little iffy for absolute numbers, but I think I added an equivalent of about 300 pounds total. So it's a decent squat. I can't bench the max, so that's a good thing.
Yeah.
I mean, like, it's a good thing to like work up to it, but so I think that's gonna keep me going for at least like another 2 months. That's what I'm saying.
I think the real question is, you actually left your house?
Felt good, man. Fresh air.
Where did you get
the Flamin Fitness guy?
Oh yeah, Flamin.
Yeah,
Oh,
the Flamin
Flamin.
in
Yeah.
Nisku, right on the
Holy
airport
moly.
area.
Oh yes, Southside boy, pretty close by.
Yeah, with the guy on the like treadmill when you.
Yeah. Oh, whenever you're coming
got him in
back
a
from the
bunch,
airport. Love that guy. Whenever coming back from the airport, like you always see the
He's
Flamin
still
guy.
going, he's still going.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, he's a staple of Edmonton.
He's like
Yeah.
he's still going. He's like the opposite of Chris.
Oh man.
He's always been quarantine 15.
The Flamin guy is like consistently working on cardio. Does that guy not do any strength training?
Yeah, how is he so jacked?
I don't understand this shit.
Maybe cardio.
He's on more steroids than John Jones.
Maybe cardio doesn't kill gains. Oh, good old John Jones. What about you, Benny? What's keeping you occupied?
I've been doing some more yoga actually. So I've been getting in touch with my my inner yogi. Got my yoga mat. Just set it out and flip on a YouTube video because I can't do that stuff all by myself. You need a little direction, and I've made a lot of good progress on my crow pose. So go look it up.
Can you do it in the background?
I mean, maybe later.
Warrior 1 going into Warrior 2, going to Warrior 3.
Going into Golden State.
Wait, we're not talking about the Tom Hardy movies? No Warrior 2? No Warrior 3?
Man, if there was a sequel to Warrior, I don't even know how that would look.
Yeah, that's a good question. Yeah.
Tommy comes back with a metal plate in the bow with a vengeance.
Nick Nolte. Tommy.
Hey, Tommy!
And who's the other guy? Joel Edgerton?
Yeah.
Just so like
Maybe.
yeah.
A weird love child between the two.
I mean, not quite like Chael because Chael hasn't won anything. So
True.
He's won the trash talk.
Yeah. And he's apparently reps a good YouTube game right now.
I'd have to
Have
check
you
it
seen
out.
some of his promos for Bellator?
No, what does he do?
Like press conferences and stuff, and like trash talk compilations. Like, he's nuts. Like, if you thought he talked a lot in UFC, you should see him like Beacon, Vanderlei Silva, and like even Fedor, like leading up to those fights, and Tito.
No, Tito.
Yeah,
Tito. Is Tito still fighting?
In Bellator, yeah, I think so.
Yeah, he's still in Bellator. Yeah,
everyone still fights in Bellator.
Yeah, it's like the equivalent of golf's Legends League. You know, it's just like, okay, yeah, you're too old for this UFC. You're an insurance liability. Go fight in Bellator.
Speaking of
not football's Legends League, hey?
Is there a football's Legends League?
It's also affectionately known as the Lingerie Football League.
Oh.
I think the actual name is Legends Football League.
Yeah, I think it is. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. But anyway, speaking of too old and liabilities, Chris, what have you been doing?
I've been doing the Yager workout, working my way to 1,000 squats a day. But I think I'm gonna hit up Canadian Tire and pick up a set of weights, probably a barbell and a dumbbell set, just because this whole body weight stuff, it's just not doing it for me.
Why don't you bench press your girlfriend?
Oh, I can try that. You know, I can go for it. But
or you could bench press your other roommate.
I could just hold one on each arm and just go up and down for both.
Yeah, a little dumbbell press.
Yeah, no big deal.
Are we talking about a workout, or are we talking about a plot for a porno?
Oh.
So what did Krista get up to? Oh, he's now he's doing the homemade porn thing.
But outside of working out, I'm doing some reading. The current book I'm on is Don Cherry's Sports Heroes. Pretty good read, actually. Definitely enjoying it. I'm also reading a book on Tableau, which is a statistical software for data visualization. You know, just sharpening up those skills a little bit.
Oh, I'm captivated.
And
riveting.
Definitely, you know, checking what's on the Netflix and following, since sports is pretty much all but canceled. But my only competition that I'm watching is RuPaul's Drag Race season 12.
Nice.
Yeah. In a fantasy league for it as well. Got some money on the line. One of my picks got eliminated at the first round.
I didn't do your research, I see.
I did not. You know, I watched 11 seasons and still don't know. Still don't know how to.
Are these including the All-Star seasons too?
Yeah, I watched. Those are excluding the All-Star seasons. I watched all 4 seasons of All-Stars as well. So, and then with the UK version, that's a cumulative 16 seasons I've watched.
Wait, how many episodes are there in a season?
Oh, you know, like around 12 to 13.
How long is each episode?
About 40 to 45 minutes.
Wow.
You know, this explains a lot. Hey, Chris, are you going to come hang out with us? No, I'm busy. Sorry, boys. I have soccer on Mondays.
Yeah, soccer. What about your guys' entertainment? What's outside of working out? What's that been like for you?
I haven't been watching too much stuff. I've been getting a couple movie recommendations. I know everyone's up on like Tiger King on Netflix these days, but like it doesn't look like it interests me, so I'm gonna stay away from the fray.
I saw the first episode. Pretty good. I enjoyed it. Largely about it revolves around 3 individuals in the U.S. and they had large exotic zoos within their property, and it centers around their focus on big cats. So they held big cats within these zoos, and just the general market around it, how they acquired all their animals, and kind of the politics behind it. And
that's probably like one of the most diplomatic descriptions
Yeah,
unbiased descriptions I've heard of it.
I'm only in one episode in, and it's kind of hard to describe just being one episode in. I mean, there's some eccentric characters, that's for sure, especially this Joe Exotic guy. He's just a wild character, like a gun-loving, tiger-loving nut, and apparently he has beef with one of these other people as well, and she's an animal rights activist, and he's calling the hypocrisy on her. Yeah, there's a lot going on in just that first episode alone. But I recommend it. I mean, I'm gonna follow through and watch the entire season of it.
Damn.
All right.
A lot of analysis from one episode.
Yeah.
Hey, yeah.
Wow, I'm amazed.
Speaking of analysis, first topic that I really want to delve into, boys. Tom Brady.
Whoa.
Now,
TB12.
42-year-old Tom Brady has left the New England Patriots, a team he's been with for 20 years, to sign with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers for what I believe is $30 million a year. Boys, what are your thoughts?
I'm kind of a traditionalist. I like seeing a player stay with the same team for their entire career. Mind you, the amount of years that Brady's played in the league, like that's double some of these players' careers, right? So that's still a long time. But yeah, I'm like, I think guys about like for the NHL, guys like Stevie Yzerman, Joe Sakic. I was gonna say Marty Brodeur, but that's actually a prime example of a guy who finished on a different team.
And people forget about that.
I like the guys that stick with the same team because you don't get to see that often. Nick Lidstrom is another guy, another Detroit guy.
Yeah, there's something nice about one player sticking with and being associated with that organization their entire career.
And Chris, I know that's like it's such a new phenomenon for you because you're a Sens fan and you haven't actually got to see any Senators play their entire career with the Sens.
Chris Phillips. You're wrong. Chris Phillips played 15 plus seasons.
Any notable Senators players?
Chris Phillips was a number 1 overall draft pick, my dude. It's not like he never had an unnotable career.
Donovan, did you know that Chris Phillips was former first overall?
Yeah, actually. I think I was going down the rabbit hole when I wasn't supposed to on, like Elite Prospects.
That's one of our favorite websites, eh? Shout out to Elite Prospects.
Yeah, shout out
definitely.
Elite Prospects.
Yeah, shout out to Elite Prospects.
Well, we got to get Chris on Elite Prospects one of these days. like on the database.
We're going to write in, put in...
You can transfer my CCRHL stats onto there.
We're going to ask them if they can keep track of intramural stats.
Yeah. But back to Brady.
Okay, I'm gonna try to play devil's advocate here and use examples like Alfie or Brodeur. And like when you think back on their legacy, you still think of them as, associated with that team despite that last year. Like and like you said at the beginning, people tend to forget. So I don't like. If a player has something to prove personally, like that they still got it, like the coming at the twilight of their careers, and I think it's not like out of line to just go for it and like show that you can do it with another team, with another player, with another coach.
I think that's fair. I think also one thing that's really fascinating about the TB12 is that he's been playing at a high level for so long, and like it's almost unprecedented, right? You don't get to see that high of a level of an athlete, a guy who's won it all multiple times. This is never done. It doesn't happen. This is the one and only time that it's happened, right? At this magnitude.
It's interesting. Within his own division now, there's him and Drew Brees, and they're both two guys literally at the highest age mark that are still performing at an elite level. Like I think Drew Brees is 40 or 41, and he's also producing at just an insane level too. So when those guys match up, they'll match up against each other twice.
We
That's
can
going
also
to be
look at it from a perspective of
fascinating.
like you want to prove yourself on because you've done everything, because you've achieved everything. You want to prove yourself again, and like because Tom's career is so intertwined with Belichick, maybe like part of the sensation that he's seeking is like, can I win with Belichick? Can I prove to everyone that I'm not a product of his system? I'm still I'm the GOAT, right? Like basically.
Yeah, you kind of think about like obviously it's not the same since it's an individual sport, but when you think about GSP spending all that time off and ruling welterweight like before that and coming back and taking on a middleweight contender, just to prove to people.
Yeah, and like part of the reason why GSP even came out of retirement was for that special of a challenge. It wasn't like I'm gonna come and line up against another, welterweight. It's like I want to rise to the challenge.
Yeah, I think Brady definitely feels that way. I think part of it too is he's got a fire lit under him. I mean, the Patriots essentially disrespected him. Belichick's apparently has been looking for a replacement for 6 or 7 years, and they had that guy in Garoppolo.
Yeah, they let go of Garoppolo, and
they
obviously Garoppolo did choke job in the playoffs, but
they let go of Garoppolo for what many consider a very, very cheap price. And a lot of it just had to do with the internal politics on the team, whether it was Kraft that, okayed that move or whether it was Belichick himself. That move alone was pretty contentious, and I'm sure within that organization there was an internal power struggle. And then moving on as well, but it seems like Belichick has been waiting to move on from Brady for quite some time, and I think for himself as well. He wants to prove that he can win without Brady, just as much as Brady wants to prove he can win without Belichick. So it's going to be interesting, for both those guys. And what would be most fascinating would if we got a Pats Buccaneers Super Bowl.
Put your money down in Vegas right now.
Yeah, like would that not be absolutely amazing? Just seeing that Super Bowl, the Brady Bowl.
The Brady Bowl. It would be. I'd buy tickets to that. I mean, I wouldn't be able to afford them, but I'd buy them.
Yeah. Well, especially if the Pats can go one or two routes. They can go a rebuilding route, or maybe they go after a guy like Cam Newton.
Cam Newton absolutely go for the Cam Newton route. Did you see those clips of him working out from earlier?
No, I haven't. No.
You should have seen the comments. People are like, "Is this a quarterback or is this a linebacker?"
Well, the dude is just absolutely jacked. I mean, like I think he's like 240 pounds. He's a linebacker playing quarterback, and that's his strength, but also his weakness because really he does not elude contact. So, and he takes a lot of contact.
That's like the opposite of Donovan Jang's on ice hockey career.
Well, what's interesting, maybe Donovan can allude to some of that contact he took because you were a running back.
I was a running back, yeah. I don't know about eluding contact though. I got hit pretty hard. I played how many years? 13 years of contact hockey. Or no, that's not right. I played many years of contact hockey, but I had never gotten hit as hard as the 1 year I did in football. Yeah,
that's wild. That's wild.
Yeah, I don't know. It's just this is a bit of a tangent, but like the football hits are just different. Like people, they lead with their heads, which is obviously like a big contentious issue right now with concussion issues and all that. But like when I was playing, like people were still leading with their helmets and like hitting you either in the head or just like in the legs, and you just get like Charlie horsed for the next 5 days.
Like no wonder guys leave with like no knees,
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
stuff.
Well,
And Donovan's selling himself short a little bit because he was offensive player of the year, was he not?
Well, we didn't have a great team, so
Nobody cares about how good the team was. They asked how many awards you won, and you got one sitting on your mantle.
yeah, it was honestly a nice achievement. Like I don't if people ask me like what are my top 5 sports awards, I'd definitely put that as like number 3 or something.
Okay. Well,
No,
it's
pretty good.
It's a good notch under your athletic belt.
Yeah, I agree.
Did you ever win any awards?
Sorry.
I won a few curling awards. That's mostly it. I think we won B Division championship a few years and made the club playoffs at Crestwood Curling Rink, which was a pretty big achievement.
We didn't ask for your curling record. We asked if you won any individual awards.
I only focus on team awards, not individual awards.
That sounds like a resounding no to me.
And you'd be correct about that. But I'm the closest to have made an Olympic national team.
Yeah. For our listeners and viewers out there, maybe tell that story super quickly if we have some time here.
Yeah, I can briefly go into it. So there was a program that one of my former managers, who's a Dutch individual, he sent it to me. And it was by the Dutch Curling Federation. And they were looking for curlers of Dutch background in Canada, which was me. I'm of Dutch background. I have Dutch citizenship. So I contacted the individual responsible for recruitment. And after a few WhatsApp messages, he asked that we meet up. And this would have been around last year. And the World Championships were being held in Lethbridge. So
shout out to Lethbridge.
Shout out to Lethbridge. So we met at, I forget exactly what hotel. We met at one of the hotels in one of the conference rooms there. And they gave me an entire presentation on where, as a program, Dutch curling wants to go. And then they asked me about my background curling. And it essentially was, I felt like a free agent. You know, I was in a private room at a hotel. They were kind of selling me on the program. And then I had to sell them on myself. And my curling accomplishments are not overly prestigious, but I tried to sell it to the best of my abilities. And yeah, it's been a year and I still haven't gotten a call. But maybe for 2022, they're just waiting.
Hey, you know, they don't have as many resources available to them. You know, there's Winter Olympics is further away, so you know these things are fluid.
I'm hoping to get the call this year. Maybe 2021. Maybe they're just focused on a 1-year training camp.
Like resources. How many curling rinks are there even in the Netherlands, right?
Oh, probably less than 10. I bet Edmonton, like no joke, Edmonton probably has more than the Netherlands in total.
Edmonton's a curling hotbed.
Well, all the best teams really come from Edmonton. The Botcher team and the Coe team, which both usually represent the Brier, either as the winner, or wild card, or for Team Alberta itself, are the top teams.
Okay, one last question, one last question related to Don's football career. My big question that I've been wondering for a little bit is, could Donovan handle a tackle from Chris?
Yes. No, he couldn't. I'd destroy him. Destroy him.
You know what? I'd bet on Donovan Jang. I'd bet on Donovan Jang.
Donovan Jane bets on Donovan Jane.
It sounds like we might have to organize this kind of stunt in the future, boys.
You know what? Once we're out of this once this Corona stuff goes away and we're out of this self-isolation, the very first thing we're going to do on this podcast, we are going to record me tackling Donovan Jane, 1-on-1. I'm only going to get 5 yards for a run-up, and we're going to see how that fares.
Oh, boy.
You could put on hockey. You could put on gear. You could put no gear. We're going to do it.
Gonna have to dig out my my old Under Armour girdle.
You might have to take out
the gear. You definitely got to put on the gear.
You might have to. You might have to take out an insurance premium. Because I'll be doing those 1,000 squats a day.
Chris, I hope your insurance covers whatever incident might happen.
Yeah, I'm looking into it right now. All right, boys. I want to get to the core topic of the day. And seeing as how hockey is essentially postponed for an undetermined period of time, I would say that this is definitely a painful period. What I want to know are favorite and most painful hockey moments from either a professional level of watching or a personal level of playing yourself.
Do we want to start with one or the other first?
Let's start with our favorite moments. Let's start on a positive here.
With professional?
Yeah, let's go professional.
Oh, favorites. I mean, one of the first that comes to mind is one of my favorite moments is just the 2014 Canadiens run to the Eastern Conference Final. And then, of course, the 06 Oilers Cup run.
I agree on that. The 06 run, that was wild. The whole city, it was just electric. And even the team itself, there was just something about that team that was just really, really magnifying, you know? Like it's that group was just an exciting group of individuals that got really invested in.
I have 2 more to add, just super quickly. I'll start with 2. I really have a soft spot in my heart for the 07-08 Canadiens team, especially through the regular season.
Love that team.
I gotta shout out Guy Carbonneau, head coach. And that was the year that like Alexei Kovalev put up like 84 points.
He had a monster year.
Huge year. And then I really shout out to 2010 Team Canada Olympic gold, and then 2002 Olympic gold as well.
Yeah, that 2010 Olympic gold team, those were some of the most exciting games I've seen, and nerve-wracking too. Like every game was on the edge of the seat, especially that final against the US and then the goal. I mean, it was just kind of a anticlimactic goal. Like it's just like, what happened?
So like I actually didn't get to see the game live. I had a junior C game out in Millet. And
wow.
And so my dad and I, we put the game on DVR. Yeah, like an actual DVR. And we're trying to like stay spoiler free throughout the duration of the game. And then I guess like my dad was taking a piss in the urinal in the rink, and some guy who'd never talked to him the entire like season like blurted out what was at the time a tie score, right? And like my dad just like so chapped. He's like, I haven't talked to you all year. I'm taking a piss. You're gonna tell me the score? I didn't ask for this. But like my dad kept it to himself, and he didn't tell me like as we drove home from Millet, right? And then so like he knew it was good tide, and like I'm watching the game unfold in my mind real time. But then of course when it gets to overtime, we didn't know what the result was going to be. So even though like it was delayed from everybody else, it still got to watch and react and have it be the same sensation.
I like that.
We did not win. We also got eliminated against Millet that same day, but not a big deal.
That was playoffs?
Yeah. Or no,
I don't think Millet even has a junior C team anymore.
I can't remember. Either that or I might have sealed it away with an empty netter. I can't remember. Sealed away a tying game. We lost the series anyway, but nobody cares. We'll
right,
recap my
my,
most memorable Junior C moments later at some time.
Yeah, we'll put a highlight package of that together, including the pegs. The pegs is
that
number
is the
one.
highlight. That is the highlight. All right, Don, you're on.
All right, I big shout out to 2010 Winter Olympics as well. Obviously the 06 Cup run, 2014 Habs playoff run, and actually 2010 Habs playoff run too. So 2010 was like a pretty good year for hockey for me, right?
With Halak.
Yeah, we loved that. Chris and I would love that run too.
Yeah, that was...
they just they felt invincible. Like obviously up until the Flyers, but
was that the run? Was that the run where Camilleri just went off too? Yeah, man.
He was dialed in, man.
Yeah, he was a machine. He had a Fernando Pisani like run there.
Oh, good thing his career was better. One time Edmonton Oiler, Michael Camilleri.
Yeah,
that's right. About that. Yeah. There's so many players that just ended their career in Edmonton, and then you like bring it up. It's just like, oh, that's right. They played with the Oilers. Adam Oates, yeah. Peter Sikora, that's another name too. Where it's just like he had 2 runs in Edmonton.
Just give me.
He didn't have 2 runs in Edmonton.
No, that's Peter Nedved. Peter Nedved, yeah. Confusing the two. Sikora had the 1 year in Edmonton, and then Peter Nedved had the one memorable run when he was, I think, a deadline acquisition in 03-04. And then I think he signed later on and never did that much.
Yeah, no, we still like watching Nedved, like his style, the way he skated was actually quite similar to Yager.
Yeah.
Like the skating stride and style, and like I think even like the way they tucked in their jerseys and like the pants and all the way down to like the skate holders is very similar.
That's the Czech influence, even though Nedved played for Team Canada, I believe.
Yeah, he defected.
Yeah.
Well, since Don isn't here or is taking a time out, maybe you want to reflect on some of your favorite moments.
Yeah, I mean, obviously the 06 Oilers, that run was just memorable. Felt like every game. Edge of the seat. I'm a Sens fan. That 07 Sens run where they made the Cup final, that was also one of my favorite runs. We crushed through the Eastern Conference. I think every series the Sens won in 5 games. And I thought we stood a good chance against Anaheim, but yeah, it's just how it goes.
It was tough to see Anaheim win it, especially as an Oilers fan as well.
Well, seeing Proner lift the cup, yeah.
Like before then, you can get behind guys like the Niedermeyer brothers and, even Jaguar.
Yeah, and then like Getz and Perry were, breaking into the league and starting to establish themselves not only as elite players but also as elite douchebags. So just seeing that Anaheim team and lots of bad memories with Anaheim. And that goes into one of my other favorite moments, which was the 2017 Oilers and that run that they had. And that Game 7, I mean, it's one of my favorite moments, but also one of my most painful moments, that 2017 Oilers run, because that Game 7, oh man, Ben, we watched it. It was deflating.
I think I firmly put it out of my mind.
Yeah.
You're calling the game better than I am.
For a good few hours after that, it was just it kind of felt like it was just in a haze. It was weird.
It was one of those things where it felt like if they had gone past Anaheim, they could have actually had a chance to go to the Cup final.
Yes. And getting a Pittsburgh Edmonton final, that would have been absolutely amazing.
But you
that
know
would have
what?
been just like good hockey.
Yeah.
Like think about those teams. That just would have been fun to watch. Like even as if you were like a non-fan and you're just like tuning in. Can you imagine like the speed and the offense?
Do you think we'll ever see Oilers Pens final in the next 5 years?
No, I don't think so.
Do you think we'll
I
see
think-
either of those teams get to the Cup final in the next 5 years?
Yes, I think we'll see both those teams within the next 5 years make the finals,
Because like
but not
Crosby
at the
only
same time.
years left in it, right? Like
Sid
Yeah.
and Sid and Malkin and Letane. I mean, I think you include Letane in that core group as well. I think Pittsburgh's done pretty good at acquiring secondary talent to go along with that core that they got. Like they got Gensel, a few other guys too. Like Gensel has had Gensel, Rust have had really solid years this year. And as long as Malkin and Crosby keep doing what they're doing, like I don't see their games falling off in the foreseeable future. So I think they got a good chance. The biggest thing, their biggest obstacle is the East is pretty strong. I mean, you got Washington. One team that I think is going to be good within the next few years is going to be New York. You got Boston as well.
Rangers or Islanders?
Rangers.
Okay.
Both of them.
Islanders are on the uptrend.
Yeah, Islanders too. Like the East is really tough.
Yeah, but
And
like that's the thing about the league now. Like any year, like if you just a couple things happen, you can a promising offseason can turn into a nightmare of a regular season pretty quick. New Jersey Devils.
Yeah. Well, exactly. Even the Toronto Maple Leafs were trending that way this year.
Oh, yeah.
They seem to have picked it up, and maybe part of that is just playing a weaker division. But yeah, for a while there, it looked like they were trending in the wrong direction, and especially with all that money tied to 4 players, like if that's the way you're trending this season, and
don't forget before they made the coaching change, all that money tied to 4 players and a coach.
Yeah, well, exactly. And then even some of their moves in the offseason as well, like it was a little bit puzzling. I hate him as a player, but a guy like Kadri, he seems like one of those glue guys that's, really good within the lineup, can move up and down the lineup, play harder roles. And
I think he's probably not too unhappy that in a situation in Colorado now, though. So
yeah, he's in a good situation right now because Colorado is one of those teams where I honestly thought that they were them and St. Louis were probably at the crop in the West.
But yeah, now that Donovan's back, let's maybe dial it back and let him finish out his favorite memories.
Agreed. Yeah.
Oh, I think I mentioned my favorite ones. Did you guys do most painful yet?
No.
No, not yet. No.
Oh, okay. I'll talk a little more about my favorite then. I think they kind of represent like different periods of my life for me, because like pre 2010 is like younger me, like kid me, and watching hockey as a kid is just like a bit of a different experience, right? Because you're less analytical, but you're more emotional and like visceral, right? So like losing, or no, not painful yet, but watching the wins in 2006 was like exhilarating, right?
Yeah.
Like still would be as an adult, but that's just like, I think even then it kind of coincides with close to the start of my own hockey career, right? So it just fosters that love for the game. Obviously, Ben, you were, born like just before the Habs won their last cup, right? And
yeah, it was me.
Probably have some memories.
Your dad, my dad, celebrating the '93 Montreal Canadiens Stanley Cup.
Yeah. Yeah, so and having those winning moments, I think goes a long way to having a kid just like fall in love with the game, and yeah, it definitely did it for me there. So 2006 holds a 06 baby holds a big place in my heart.
Like the players on that team are just like they became instant classics to Oiler fans. Like especially the deadline pickups.
Oh, the deadline. Kevin Lowe. Let's give credit to Kevin Lowe because every move he made in the offseason and that trade deadline, it worked. Like literally every move he hit gold on.
Yeah, even the Todd trade.
Even the Todd Harvey, the Prono trade was a master stroke. Getting Pekka, great move. Samsonov, I mean, eventually that pick became Lucic, but I'd still take Samsonov for that run because he made some big plays throughout the playoffs, and I'll never forget his backheel pass. It was in the regular season, but he made this amazing backheel pass with his skate, like a soccer player type pass. I think it was to Horks, and Horks put it away, and like it was on the highlight reel on TSN and Sportsnet for the next few days, and the moment I saw that, I fell in love with Samsonov.
Just super quickly, Donovan, why don't you tell the people why Todd Harvey is a good pickup?
Yeah, the year is 2006. The location is Steinauer Elementary School, and I befriended a young fella named Dalton Harvey, whose dad happens to be none other than Todd Harvey.
Oh.
And that they were a good family. Like they knew like I was a huge Habs fan, right? And when the Habs came in town, like Todd and Dalton hooked it up. Like they brought me to like the Habs Oilers game. And like that's probably like I've been to like quite a few games by now, right? But even as long ago as that game was, I think that might be one of the ones I remember best. And it's just so even just that like off ice sort of character, I guess that Todd Harvey was, or at least the one that I sort of knew as a kid, just really added to the the aura of that team as well, right? Like him as a player and him with the team.
That whole team was filled with all types of characters.
They had Big Georges.
Yeah, I mean George. Obviously, we know Big George is a larger than life figure.
Get him, George.
Yeah. It was just a really easy team, just to fall in love with because all of the players were really, really likable. And I mean, what's interesting too is it seemed like that year, at least most players on that team, they had career years as well.
Yeah,
or at least
Hork and Hammer during the regular season for sure.
Hork, Hammer, yeah. Even Pisani, playoffs and regular season.
And then you got paid.
Yeah, Smitty had just a really good year.
And he lost his chiclets.
Jarrett Stahl too. I think that was his career year in points as well.
Yeah, he's a young one.
Yeah. I'm looking at it. Stahl had, I think, 70 points that year.
Really? I feel like he's a 60-point guy, but semantics.
Oh, he had 68.
Not 69?
Just search it up.
Yeah, I got it here.
It's not 69?
Oh, he was 1 point away.
That's too bad.
Yeah.
All right, Chris, do you have any other favorite memories?
To a lesser extent, I really like the 03 Senators.
Oh my god.
Yeah, I really like that team.
Nobody remembers that team.
Well, they have lots of top players. I mean, Marian Hossa, Alfredson, Chara and Redden. See, the biggest mistake, I mean, the Sens made was obviously choosing Redden over Chara, but we don't need to get into that. But that 03 Sens team, it had a lot of talent on it. And they took New Jersey to Game 7 in the Eastern Conference Final, and unfortunately lost to Jersey. And I mean, that was probably my first heartbreaking moment as a hockey fan. But that last game, it was just so anticlimactic that it really never stung that much. And
this is ringing a bell a little bit for me, barely. But I know Donovan probably. I think for that one, he was still in Korea.
2003.
Yeah.
I'll be right back.
I didn't go back till 2000. Wait. No, I was back. 2003, I was back. I would have been back for that run, I think. Or maybe I came back a couple months late. I don't know. But speaking of early childhood heartbreaks, are you putting that in your list of most painful?
No. Really, the way I see it was the Sens were down 3-1 to a Jersey team that was. They were favored. I mean, Jersey, they won the Cup in 2000. They made the Cup final in 2001. They were favored over the Sens. For me, I looked at it as the Sens were the underdog in that series, and they were making stride. And they came back from a 3-1 deficit, tied the series at 3, and lost a pretty anticlimactic Game 7. It's done, but, I mean, compared to the 2006 loss to the Canes and the 2017 loss to the Ducks, as well as the 2007 loss sends Anaheim, doesn't even pale in comparison. Like those all felt heartbreaking because with the 2006 Oilers, like the most heartbreaking moment was when Roley went down. I mean, that's when it felt like oh man, like it went from being like, okay, I think we have this, we can beat Carolina, to shit, like Roley's down, and you could see it in the body language in the team. And we obviously know what happened with Game 1 and the Ty Conklin mistake. But Game 2, they just came out flat, and I think they lost 4 or 5-0. So it immediately went from like an immediate high to like an immediate low. And you know, that entire series, it had its peaks and valleys, but definitely the ultimate valley was when Roley went down.
Yeah, I think what you said there also kind of, like, obviously we all know about like 2006, but for me it kind of segues into the 2014 Carey Price run.
Which, speaking of which, fuck Kreider.
Yeah, fuck Kreider.
Yeah, that was like, at least as an 2006 Oilers fan, like Bergeron just made a stupid play, but Kreider, man, like there was some maliciousness in that, him driving the net there. And yeah, I swear, the Habs would have won. They would have won that series against the Rangers with Price. The way Price was playing at like a 93 Patrick Waugh level.
Anything can happen when you have a hot goalie.
Yeah, exactly.
But speaking as a player, for myself, who's done the accidentally on purpose to goalies, you knew exactly what Kreider was doing.
No, yeah, I was just gonna say, like Ben and I, based our game, like our personal games, mostly around speed and driving hard to the net and whatnot. And what when you could have, helped it and not gone barreling into a goalie. Oh, yeah. You could always do something. Like,
oh yeah,
no matter how fast you're going, you know what direction you're taking, right? And if you take that lane directly to the net and you blow a tire, it's at least some of it's on you. Like,
oh, you got to be responsible.
Yeah.
And that's a play where, like, Kreider's intent was not to injure Price, but there was intent there to, get in his space, get in his head. And unfortunately, the worst happened and Price was out. And they had to go with Tokarski played good. I have to give him credit.
Remember, they didn't play Brady.
Yeah, they never. Yeah, yeah, they went straight to Tokarski. Budai was the backup, but they went straight to Tokarski.
And then they had Dubnik actually, like, but mind you, they sent him home, or he asked to get sent home during that run.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't think Doobie
Yeah.
would have been up to it.
But imagine if it was the Doobie that we later revived himself. Like if that Doobie was in net, that would be sick.
That's a good story for him. Like post 2014, obviously.
Post Oilers.
Yeah. Well, post Habs too, right? Like didn't he end up in the East Coast at some point?
Post Arizona too, because he was with Arizona for
Arizona.
20 games.
Sean Burke helped him revive his career.
Not our Sean Burke.
No, not our Sean Weatherall Burke.
Yeah. The goalie whisperer, Sean Burke. But yeah, I am convinced that the Habs, they would have made the finals, and then what a story that would have been. You have, the Habs riding a hot goalie to the Stanley Cup Finals to play the LA Kings. It's an exact carbon copy of the 93 Cup Finals and the last Habs Stanley Cup Final.
Yeah, I don't know if they would have beaten the Kings, but
it would have been nice to get there.
You never know. With a hot goalie, you can ride a hot goalie to the cup. You can ride a hot goalie as far as possible. And I mean, if they're in the finals, they probably have a chance because from what I remember of those finals, LA was winning games, but they weren't playing that well.
Where did how far did the Rangers take him? Was it game 6?
Game 5.
Games? 5 games?
Well,
it was game 5, but the Rangers outplayed the Kings probably in all those games.
Well, if they had outplayed them, they would have won. So,
that's true. That's true. Yeah, that even for myself. I mean, I'm not a Habs fan, but I was definitely rooting for them.
You're a closet Habs fan, you know it.
Yeah, maybe like they're 4th on my list.
Wait, who's the 3rd?
Golden Knights.
What? I mean, good pick, but like, how are they 3rd?
Well, I just like the team, man.
All right. You just like Mark Stone.
I love Stone. Love Stone. That's a painful moment. That's the one guy of all the guys the Sens got rid of. That's the one of the guys I was hoping that they would keep.
You mean Erik Karlsson's just chopped liver here?
Well, we're gonna get Lafreniere because of that trade. So,
I hate that you're not wrong.
I mean, we have San Jose's draft pick. We have our own draft pick. We're good. We're good.
Watch they do a 24 team play-in for playoffs. Sens and Sharks blow their chances at good picks.
Yeah, by reaching the final.
The improbable has happened.
Oh man. Or we could just do the PK Subban proposal. Every team makes the playoffs.
Yeah, PK. But yeah, it's kind of funny how we don't even have to talk about painful moments. The painful moments are kind of intertwined with the favorite moments. Some of them, right? Some of these runs, because the runs they ended, and we haven't, other than the Olympics, we haven't been a part of like a run where we've got to celebrate, like other than like Toronto Raptors, right? And let's be honest, like we're not basketball fans first; we're hockey fans first. I think we can all agree on that.
Yeah,
right?
yeah, 100%. Yep.
So it's it's tough. It's tough to know that we haven't got to be in our lifetime, our quarter of our life, the quarter or whatever the lifespan we've lived. It's like we haven't seen our NHL team win it.
Well, what's frustrating, like for one of our NHL teams, because we're all Oilers fans here, we've gone almost half our life, and we haven't even seen them be successful, other than 2016-17.
I thought you were gonna say half our life they haven't even made the playoffs, which is true.
Yeah. Like, there's losing the playoffs and the heartbreaking fashion that comes with it, but there's also like not even coming close to sniffing the playoffs for God knows how many years. And I mean, it's frustrating, and that's what is kind of sad about this season. Was me and you, Ben, we were talking about it. The city needs an Edmonton Oilers playoff run. Whether it's 1 round, 2 rounds, we need it. It just energizes the city. There's life to it.
Everything that, from an infrastructure perspective and growing the city, everything has been done with the intent of having a winner, right? And the city is so starved for it in so many different ways. But even the downtown, obviously, the Ice District, all that stuff, it's done with the intent that we're going to see something with longevity, some success with longevity, right?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And I mean, that's what is kind of disappointing about this season. We were going to see it. And the Oilers, they had a team where I think they probably could have won a playoff round or two. And now there's uncertainty, but I don't want to get too much into that because that's just going down a different rabbit hole.
That's one for a future episode.
That's one for future playoff scenario episode.
Yeah.
Yeah. So now that we've kind of recapped some faves and some not so favorites for like professional, do we want to talk about some personal highlights?
Yeah. Let's talk about a few personal.
We should start with Chris, the one with the most illustrious hockey career.
So just a bit of background on my hockey career. I never played hockey at an organized level as a kid. The only hockey that I played was at the ODR with Ben and a few of our other friends from high school.
That's how we became friends, really.
That is, yeah. We went to the outdoor rink.
We owed to hockey.
We were out there in -20 weather, toughing out the colds when there were no other people on the rink, and we'd just be shooting the puck around.
Or if it was you, shooting pucks at people's heads.
Oh yeah, that's a story we don't need to get into. But my first foray into any form of organized hockey was with a beer league team with a buddy of mine that he invited me to. And it was tough because I only knew maybe 2 or 3 people on that team. So you're going into an environment where you've never played organized hockey before, and you're with people that you don't know, who are you're unfamiliar with. And I that was a hockey experience, just playing on the first year on that team. There were, and I'm sure probably if they were to look back now, maybe as mature adults, I'm hoping they've matured. There were quite a few punks on that team, and they never made the experience fun, because what beer league's about, you just go out there, you skate, you don't play any defense, not to go out there and injure guys and just chirp them the entire time. And that's what the experience became about. And we were just acting like idiots and going up against other teams, and just the whole thing just became a gone show. So that leads into my most pleasant or favorable experiences, and that would have been playing with you guys, U of A intramurals last season, and Dono feeding me the puck for beautiful goal. Just teed it up from 6 feet out, tucked her past the goalie, and there's nothing better than score. I scored a few goals in that league, especially in the second year. I think my second year I played like 13 games, had 5 goals. But just putting that puck away in the net, first goal in probably like 7 years, that felt good.
Holy moly.
It was a nice goal too. And just playing with that team, like they were a bunch of good guys, fun guys to play with, to be around, have a beer with. Just an overall good experience.
You're welcome.
I have to thank you.
Yeah, that's why there was a lot of hype going into making another team, eh?
Yeah, bunch of jerks. 2020, here we come. We're gunning for the championship. And I've been skating hard, boys, at the ODR. Been working on my stick handling. I'll be the Cassian to your Dry and McDavid.
Just don't be Jujar Kara and we'll be okay.
Oh, don't even compare me with it. You guys saw some of my stick handling at the ODR, especially batting it up in the air, going backhand.
I think you went bar down 3 times in a row, right?
Oh man, my wrister. Oh, I was going bar down 24/7.
It looks like you've been doing a lot of wrist curls.
That's the only workout I can do here. Yeah,
but that's interesting that you
my wrist curls, eh?
Yeah.
No shake weight.
Chris
shake weight, yeah.
But yeah, Chris talking about like joining a team for the first time, like that experience. I don't know for you, Donovan, but like it never gets easier to walk into a new dressing room, I find. Even if you played all your life. So like knowing that for Chris, where he's coming into a brand new dressing room, but also he's never played organized hockey before, like I would definitely be shitting a brick.
Yeah.
Like I still get.
No, it's Ben. You remember walking into that? So Ben and I got called up via a friend of Ben's to like a Div 1 like beer league game, and we parked like a block away from the rink, and
because we don't pay for parking,
walk there. Yeah, and like the whole conversation leading up to it was like, shit, man, I haven't played in I'm kind of nervous. Like it's just like a beer league game, right? But we were like shit, I can't. I don't want to be like, I don't want to suck today. Like,
yeah, you don't want to be the worst player on the ice.
Yeah.
Well, and there's something to be said about that, because I think like you almost try and deviate from your natural game when you're in that scenario.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, like the potential exists. It's a lot higher when you're coming into that type of space, right? But I think after you get the first couple shifts out of the way, you realize at the end of the day, it's just hockey. Like it's something that for Donovan and I, like we spent our whole lives doing, and you figure it out pretty quickly.
Well, and kind of relating that to Chris's story, like at the end of the day, it is just hockey, and the most important part of leagues like that is having fun. So, with like a shitty dressing room, like obviously that fucking sucks, right? And detracts from the experience. But hopefully, moving forward, like we all like join good dressing rooms, and some of that angst might, be dissipated a bit.
Like some of these beer league teams are taking the beer too literally, eh?
Yeah, a little bit there, getting sauced before the game, and then acting a bit saucy on the ice.
Saucy on the ice. The only sauce that I know of is the chunky sauce that I toss both of you boys on the ice.
Hey, we're stocking up big on chunky this virus season.
Yeah.
Don't worry, boys. We got a bunch of jars of ragu sauce here ready to go.
I love that virus type of year. How about your boys? Like, what are your favorite and most painful hockey moments? I think I've probably heard them before, but let's have the viewers listen in.
I'm gonna jump in here because
let's
I do have to run pretty soon. But most painful easily happened last year, about like 365 days ago too. It's the game is game 3, which is Junior C game 7, and I am a 4th-year Junior C player. I have the big old C weighing on my left shoulder.
Oh boy!
And playing against my one of my better buddies' teams, and like we had a good team. We had a good dressing room. Like just all the heart was there, but like sometimes it just doesn't work out, right, in sports. So obviously lost that game, and I remember just like it was in a fucking shootout too. What playoff game ends in a shootout, right? So I remember I actually I went up and I shot and I missed, and my buddy was actually the goalie, so I fucking missed, and then like the guy who went next went down the other end and he scored, and I remember just like when their team scored, I just like I was on the bench and I just kind of like put my head down and like that was that, and like I didn't want to move from there, right? You do the handshake and everything after, and you have to go back to your dressing room, but I just wanted to sit there and be alone. I just like I'm a big believer in emotional repression. But I let it all out. I let it all out when that all happened. I've never had like an emotional breakdown like that, like ever. Man. It was like unprecedented. I just lost it. It was it's definitely stands out from the rest for me.
That's painful to hear.
Especially a shootout too. Losing in a fucking shootout.
Yeah. In my years playing too, like all the coaches would always like warn us, like, hey, like this fucking Jungle C playoffs end in a shootout, boys, right? So we don't want it to come to that, right? Like it hurts, it sucks, and like I kept hearing about it like for the 4 years leading up to that moment, but then like when it actually happened, I was like, fuck, this just doesn't feel fair. Shootout, like
so I got to watch that game too, and me and Donovan's uncle, like we just we don't you just come in the rink and find a corner to hide in and just watch from afar, and it's just your heart breaks for the kid, right? And I've watched Donovan play since he started, right? And seeing how good he's been able to become, and seeing him on his highs and lows, and getting the privilege to coach him for 1 year, and knowing that as it was last season, potentially at that point the last game, and you see him skate down the ice with the puck on his stick against a goalie who's also his friend and another player that I've coached. It's just like it's tough. It's you want so badly to make things okay for the people that you care about, but you can't do anything because you're just watching on the other side of the glass. Can't really do anything.
You want to strap on the skates, go out there.
It's like I'm not his coach anymore, right? And I can't tell him like, don't use that move that you never succeed on or something like that. Right? Like,
I did a different move. Fuck you.
I'm just kidding.
What's the move? What's the move?
Kidding. No.
So it's PK Subban in 2014, like burst out of the penalty box, and like received a Lars Eller like breakaway pass, and he goes like fake shot, backhand, forehand, and then usually like the strong side shelf is open. Right. And so like I relied on that move way too much, and fucking like Wyatt like absolutely knew it. So I actually like switched it up on Wyatt though. Like he just followed me. Like he just followed me like it was nothing. So you know, it is what it is. Yeah, if anyone's curious, search up 2014 PK Subban breakaway goal, and it's like a version of that.
Did you do the choppy skating?
I was doing choppy skating before PK Subban got on the scene.
You invented the choppy.
Somehow I did it first.
You invented the choppy skating.
Oh yeah, I'm Gordon Ramsay up there.
More like the chopstick skating, am I right?
Quick aside, and then I got a run. This question for Ben: racist encounters during your playing career?
Not that often, actually. Luckily, for the ones that I can remember, usually from teams from out of town or north side.
Oh, yeah. Of course.
Teams like Spruce Grove, I remember. Teams like Eagles growing up, stuff like that.
Yeah,
those are ones
that. Here. I think it was Bantam AA. And the reason why I thought of this is I don't remember who said it, but someone said something about the chopsticks. But I skated by the opposing player's bench, and he said something like, "Oh, I dropped my chopstick." And I was just like, wait, what?
That's one of the worst chirps.
That's a weak chirp.
But for some reason, it's like the one that's like stuck with me like the longest because it's just like so bad. Right?
Yeah,
It's not even something like, oh, like you, buddy, like your eyes are so fucking closed you can't even see the puck, like, or it's just like, oh, I jumped a chopstick. Like, what?
It's a memorable one. I give him that.
Yeah,
for how bad it is.
Oh man, that's so weak.
Yeah, no, it's not great. Okay, on that note, though, I do have to dip out early, though, boys.
All
right, boys. Yeah, I think maybe this is a good place to wrap it up here.
Yeah, I'll have to share my favorite and least favorite next step.
Yeah, next step, looks like we got a lot of topics on the go. Just to summarize a few that I have written out here, we're going to look at the early Seattle expansion draft and discuss that. Top 20 favorite Oilers Habs Sens of the past 20 years. Got some stuff on the Tokyo Olympics we want to talk about.
Can you and a whole bunch of 20?
I'd be a bad data scientist if I wasn't. And my favorite topic, not a sports topic, but is cam work sex work?
What?